Chapter 91. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The sharp sword light penetrated Hao Sei's body. The old man of the Hao family who came over hugged him and slammed Qinglong to force him back. Rat! How dare you! You dare to kill my young master of the Hao family. My Hao family will never let you go. The old man's eyes were red and bloodshot. The seriously injured and dying Hao Sei lay in the old man's arms, with blood foam spurting from his mouth. Grandpa, it hurts, so much. Hao Sei, don't talk and hold on. Grandpa will take you home. Don't. Hao Sei grabbed the old man's sleeve and forced his will. It's useless, Grandpa, I can't save you. I'm sorry, all along, as the young master of the Hao family, the future successor of the Hao family, cough cough, I know I have never been qualified, I am uneducated, I am brave and aggressive, I know that my uncles and elders at home have always been disappointed in me, I want to prove myself, but I may really have no talent. I will mess up everything I do, so, I could never raise my head in the eyes of my brothers and sisters, so I always pretended to be a playboy and arrogant. I don't know why you and my father must train me to be the successor, obviously, they are better than me. The old man burst into tears. Silly child, these are not problems. In our Hao family, you only need peace and happiness. There is nothing you can't do. If the sky falls, we old bones will support it. That the Hao family, as the leading family in Qinglong, has always adhered to the eldest son inheritance system, and the eldest son is appointed instead of the virtuous one, so that the family will be large in the future without conflicts of interest and killing each other. My child, you don't understand. A big family like ours cannot be killed immediately if attacked from outside. The ancient said that a centipede must first commit suicide at home before it can be defeated. We never expected you to be so good. When a family bullies each other because its members are weak, the family will not be far from extinction. The old man has been in Qinglong for so many years, and many powerful families have disappeared in history like a passing cloud. But our Hao family can stand firm and survive until now. It is because we are well versed in the ways of the family. We face foreign enemies with a common hatred, and we solve internal conflicts internally. We try our best to treat the children of the collateral family equally, even if they are the sons of servants. As long as you have talent, the Hao family will never deduct a single cent from you in terms of martial arts resources and status promotion. This undoubtedly perfectly ensured the cohesion and centripetal force of the Hao family, but it also led to the Hao family being arrogant and domineering outside, and the Hao family also caused a lot of trouble for this, but what does it matter? Things in the world are hard to be perfect. He. I say, you two, one old and one young, have you talked enough? Qinglong scratched his ears, and the long sword in his hand was still dripping with blood. The old man swept his cold eyes with murderous intent, but Qinglong ignored him. He was ignored. Qinglong smiled lightly. Hao Sei seemed to have thought of something, and suddenly pulled up the old man's arm. Grandpa, he is. Hao Sei, you said Grandpa is listening. Hao Sei was out of breath. Ahem, he is, sent by that person. Hao Sei, who is it? The old man was very anxious. Hao Sei, you must not learn from the people in the TV series. Stuck at the critical moment, Hao Sei took a deep breath, his face suddenly turned pale, the old man's face changed. No way, what he thought is what he thought. It's Jiang Chen. He was sent by Jiang Chen to kill me. Grandpa. Jiang Chen is not dead. Hao Sei tried his best to violate the laws of TV series, struggled and roared, and then there was no movement. Hao Sei. The old man looked up to the sky and roared, and the heavy rain washed away his tears, putting down Hao Sei's body and standing up. The old man's momentum condensed, and his robes fluttered around him to disperse the surrounding rain. The two stood opposite each other on the road. There was an undisguised murderous intent between them. To kill the young master of the Hao family, both you and Jiang Chen behind you will have to pay with your lives. The bone-chilling chill spread as the old man suppressed anger. Qinglong frowned, and couldn't help feeling a sense of pressure. Is this the real test, brother Jiang Chen? I understand. Old man, you are very strong. Unfortunately, you are old. Young people are afraid of fighting. How much strength can you exert now? Huh, you little brat, killing you is no problem. Qinglong paced and observed the old man's flaws with a knife. The bronze-level physique, fruit, and physical skills were unknown. Although he had the bonus of ancient martial arts, his opponent was also a man of 70 with reduced physical strength, but this battle was still not easy to fight. Old man, seeing how close you are, why don't you just go down and accompany him? Qinglong's words kept provoking the old man's nerves, trying to make him lose his composure first. Humph, it's a waste of words. When my Hao family reinforcements arrive later, I will make you wish you were dead or alive. Qinglong frowned. Under the entanglement of qi, whoever strikes first will have a bigger flaw. A murderer will be killed. Your young master has provoked someone he shouldn't have provoked, and he deserves this murder. I'll give you this sentence, Qinglong snorted coldly, if you and I are playing against each other, it's still unknown who will win. While they were talking nonsense, Hao Sei's corpse suddenly started again. Both sides were shocked. One more thing, Grandpa, remember to tell Bai Qingshu, tell her. I, Hao Sei, will always love her. Hao Sei fell to the ground and died. Good opportunity. There's a broken butt. While the old man turned his head and was stunned, Qinglong swung the sword directly. The move was a big move. 9 flying dragon styles 9 returns. A terrifying dragon-shaped sword energy opened its fangs and let out a deafening, heart-wrenching roar and rushed straight towards the old man. The old man was caught off guard, and his pair of iron palms could only passively set up defenses to resist Qinglong's big move. The terrifying sword energy tore the road surface. It split the sky full of wind and rain. It created a huge deep pit and blasted the old man into it. Chapter 92. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The old man was caught off guard and severely injured. A huge bloody scar appeared on his chest, and his arms drooped unnaturally. The bones were broken. Despicable and shameless villain, that the weak old man half knelt on the ground, his arms were injured, and he could not exert his own fighting power at all. Humph, blame you for being too stupid. This time, our Hao family admits defeat. You can kill me or cut me up. You are welcome. The old man gasped heavily, and his old face revealed unwillingness. Qinglong swung the sword and stabbed the old man's throat. The old man closed his eyes as if waiting for the end of his fate. The feeling of the sword piercing his throat did not appear in the premonition. The old man opened his eyes and saw Qinglong sheathing the sword. I've said it before, I only kill the main culprit. Old man, you don't have the determination to fight me anymore. There's no point in killing you. Oh, you can't afford to play with me. You sneak attack me and bully me. An old man in his 80s, was let go by a younger generation with a gift-like tone. The old man felt an unprecedented humiliation, suppressing the criticism in his heart. The old man looked at Qinglong and said mockingly. Do you think you are noble? Very cool. Young man, if you don't kill me, the revenge of the Hao family will also follow in the future. Are you not afraid? I'm wearing a mask, do you know me? Qinglong turned his head and pointed at his face and asked the old man. The old man sighed and tried not to let his tears fall. He thought that he was a hero all his life, but he was defeated by such a brainless person. You can run, but can Jiang Chen, the man behind you, run away? It's true, however, the liquidation is my elder brother's business. I just come here to collect the interest. Even if I kill you, there is no witness. Won't the Hao family suspect my elder brother? Qinglong smiled contemptuously, leaving the old man alone in the rain with the body in his arms. In the dark rainy night, under Qinglong's hat, an evil black shadow as black as ink escaped, wandering on the ground between the old man and Hao Sei's body, as if secretly looking at it, and finally seemed to have chosen a target, and jumped straight into Hao Sei's body. The sad old man looked around with alert eyes, and just a moment ago, he inexplicably sensed a huge malice. Is it an illusion? The old man shook his head and picked up Hao Sei's body in his arms. Xiao Hao, Grandpa will take you home. The old man walked alone, in his arms. Hao Sei's eyes flashed black, and his fingers trembled slightly. In the heavenly book world, Tang Xia looked at the master in shock. Master, are you saying that the nightmare demon is not dead yet? A centipede is still alive even after death. For a strange creature like the nightmare demon, it is said to be dead, but it is still alive. The whereabouts of the sub-body that represents the continuation of its will are unknown. It is said to be alive, but it is indeed dead. That sub-body is not him after all. Although it will eventually grow into a real nightmare demon step by step, those are things in the distant future. The master was fishing in the middle of the lake, stroking his beard with his hand, and laughed. There is nothing to worry about. If the nightmare demon wants to wreak havoc on the world again, it will take at least 30 years for it to develop into a complete form. The rain kept falling, some people walked, and some stopped with umbrellas. The old man holding Hao Sei's body suddenly felt a movement under him. He looked down and happened to see Hao Sei's eyes open as dark as ink. Those eyes. The old man didn't know how to describe it. It was pure malice, without any emotion. From that look, the old man actually felt a kind of innocence, just like a newborn baby. Is human nature good or evil? Children who don't understand the concept of good and evil, seeing the ant nests on the roadside, smiled and stretched out their fingers to crush them one by one. They don't know good and evil, just pursue the most instinctive pleasure. At this time, in the eyes of the old man, Hao Sei also exists like this. Before the surprise in his heart was revealed, Hao Sei opened his hoarse throat. Hungry, so hungry. Before he could react, the old man's chest was broken by a palm. Hao Sei stretched out his hand to pull out the old man's heart and ate it directly. The old man was full of disbelief, watching his life being taken away. He wanted to say something, but unfortunately his throat was eaten, so he could only make meaningless roars. In the dark night, the chewing and swallowing sounds like those of a wild beast kept ringing. After a long time, Hao Sei stood up with his limbs twisted and uncoordinated, his eyeballs rolling up and down, and he was crying, but the corners of his mouth were smiling. His hands and feet twisted 180 degrees, it was like a child who had just got a doll and was playing with it unskillfully. Who am I? I am Hao Sei. I am Hao Sei. I am the young master of the Hao family. My father is Hao Gang. That the strange body muttered to itself, as if recalling or thinking, and his eyes changed from confusion to determination. The black light gradually faded and became clear again. Ming. Hao shuddered. He felt like he had a very long dream. In the dream, he kept falling into endless darkness. Am I not dead? That House looked at his intact body. He clearly remembered that he was killed by a swordsman in black. In the end, it was his great-grandfather who came to save him, but unfortunately he was one step too late. Could it be that all this was just a dream? If it was really a dream, House touched his chest, as if he was savoring the touch of the sword on his body. It was too real. Until he saw the corpse beside him that had been eaten to the point of being unrecognizable. The familiar face on his face was his great-grandfather's face. That was not a dream. It was the great-grandfather who saved me. House knelt on the ground, holding the remains of the great-grandfather, expressionless. Great-grandfather, don't worry, if I, House, have the ability in the future, I will avenge you for this murder. House did not feel his cold and emotionless words. After being resurrected, Hao Sei felt that he was more rational than before. He weighed the pros and cons in his mind, recalled some information about Jiang Chen in his memory, and changed his words. Again. Grandpa, this Jiang Chen is not easy to deal with. In this way, I will ignore your hatred for now, and I will talk about it later when I have the chance. Hao Sei muttered to himself, collected the old man's body, and walked in the direction of the Hao family villa in his memory. I need strength. In the dark, I feel that as long as I let the world feel pain and despair, I can become stronger. Chapter 93. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The huge Hao family was brightly lit, but was shrouded in a sad mood. The old man's body was collected and covered with white cloth and displayed in the hall. All the direct descendants of the Hao family stood in the hall in mourning. "It's you, a waste. You let your grandfather save you and even lost your life. Why don't you just die?" That Hao's cousin came to House angrily regardless of everyone's fake dissuasion, and was about to slap House in the face. But he was stopped by House, who said nothing and exuded a sense of keeping strangers away. Hao Jian was stunned. This waste dared to fight back. As the best among his peers in the Hao family, he has always looked down on this guy who is unlearned but destined to become the head of the family in the future because of his good fate. He is obviously the strongest one. Only he is worthy of revitalizing the family and carrying the rise and fall of the family. You are jealous of me? I can feel the reluctance and anger in your eyes. Holding Hao Jian's wrist tightly, Hao Sei spoke indifferently, word by word. For some reason, since he was reborn for unknown reasons, he has been extremely sensitive to the emotions of the people around him, and the joys, sorrows, anger and happiness of the people around him are displayed in his eyes without any concealment. The world seemed to open a window he had never seen before for him. Bullshit. I would be jealous of a waste like you. It's simply ridiculous. That Hao Jian's face was a little unnatural, but he quickly covered it up. He didn't understand why the ignorant and arrogant Hao Sei was now like a different person, becoming so calm and composed. The young generation around him pointed and laughed at Hao Sei's self-righteousness. Oh, but I am the young master of the Hao family, and you will never be. Hao Sei narrowed his eyes. The ridicule of the clansmen, the hiding and unscrupulous eyes, could not make his emotions fluctuate at all. Hao Sei suddenly felt bored with these people. These weak people were not qualified to stand with him at all. What kind of look is that? That Hao Jian saw clearly the contemptuous look in Hao Sei's eyes. As the first of the younger generation of the Hao family, Hao Jian felt that he should let this cousin recall the past memories. He was the only one in the younger generation who could not care about Hao Sei's status. Strength was the confidence. He tried to break free from Hao Jian's restraints with his arms, but found that Hao Sei's hands were firmly clamped like a mountain. Hao Jian laughed in anger. Okay, you like to pull me, right? I'll let you pull enough. Oh no, brother Jian is angry. Hao Sei, don't do stupid things, let go. Brother Hao Jian, but you are a superhuman weapon fruit ability user. All your body can be transformed into a killing weapon. That after speaking, Hao Jian's hands turned into long electric saws, and the sharp teeth like steel chains were ready to move. Want to see whose hand is sharper? That Hao Jian looked down at Hao Sei with contempt. In his opinion, if Hao Sei still wanted his hand, he had to surrender to him in public. No need, let me teach you what is decorum and what is rules. That Hao Sei held the chainsaw fiercely regardless of the cutting of the sharp teeth, and exerted force with his palm. The palm that should have been bloody in the eyes of everyone suddenly burst into a black mist. Hao Jian felt an irresistible force erupting from Hao Sei's fragile arm. Even if he tried his best to activate the fruit ability, it was useless. The steel saw was first pinched with a few cracks, and finally it was directly deformed. Ah! Hao Jian screamed in pain. Hao Sei had no intention of stopping, and swung his other hand again, with a trembling black breath wrapped around it. It was about to blow up Hao Jian's head. Enough, stop. The elders of the Hao family who were hiding in the dark came late and had to stop this farce. He and Hao Sei exchanged palms and pulled Hao Jian away at the same time. The man couldn't help but secretly smack his lips. When did Hao Sei become so strong? Hao Jian was still not convinced and shouted that Hao Sei attacked him by surprise and he was careless and took advantage of him. He covered his injured arm and was going to fight with Hao Sei. His whole body was transformed into a body of guns and cannons. Shotguns, howitzers, Gatling guns, all over his body, and a flamethrower on his forehead. The fierce firepower configuration scared everyone present and made them retreat, fearing that the fish pond would be affected. The clan leader Hao Gang strode over and slapped Hao Sei and Hao Jian in the face. Boring farce. You don't think it's embarrassing enough, right? Hao Gang, who was intimidating without anger, interrupted the dispute between the two sides with a roar. He reprimanded the first genius and future young master of the Hao family mercilessly in front of everyone. "Who is it that dares to attack and kill you?" Hao Gang changed the subject and asked Hao Se directly. An assassination situation. Just as he was about to blurt out Jiang Chen's name, another thought in his mind stopped Hao Se's impulse. The inexplicable thought made him choose to weigh the pros and cons. He longed for death and greater chaos. Saying Jiang Chen's name was just to intensify the conflict between Jiang Chen and the Hao family again. The confrontation between forces and individuals could not cause any waves, but the confrontation between two major forces was different. He could shake the foundation of a city. It was related to the fate of tens of millions of people. Hao Se's mouth corners rose slightly. "It's the army branch. They have long intended to recruit Jiang Chen. This time Jiang Chen disappeared. They first suspected me and wanted to arrest me secretly. If it weren't for the uncle who risked his life to save me. I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to see you, father." Hao Gang looked directly at Hao Se with a majestic look, and Hao Se looked back with a sincere and sad look without fear. After a long time, Hao Gang sighed, "Trouble." As expected, the price paid for targeting Jiang Chen is not small. Duan. Tian. Ya. House returned to the bedroom and came to the mirror, stroking and staring at his face. The person in the mirror was exactly the same as himself in every word and action, but House always felt an inexplicable sense of strangeness in his heart. The longer he looked, the colder he felt in his heart. Closing his eyes, House recalled his every move before, the inexplicable increase in power, chaotic and evil thoughts constantly emerging in his mind, the lack of emotion, indifference, looking at his loved ones. He no longer had the dependence in the past. Even if he recalled every bit about Bai Qingxiu over and over again, he could no longer feel the slightest admiration. The fleeting memories in his mind seemed to be looking at someone else's life instead of himself, and even looking at some of his previous ridiculous behaviors, as if he was looking at a clown. Even now, knowing that something was wrong with him, he was still indifferent and calm. He stroked his own cheek in the mirror and looked at it carefully. "No, who are you?" After being stunned for a long time, Hao Se got up and left, sighing. No matter who he was, now, he could only be Hao Se. Just as he turned to leave, Hao Se in the mirror showed a weird smile. Chapter 94. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In a secret room, Jiang Chen, who was sitting cross-legged in a black robe, closed his eyes. His clothes had not been taken care of for many days, and his long hair fell wildly to his shoulders. Suddenly, Jiang Chen opened his eyes, and a flash of light in his eyes illuminated the entire dark room as bright as day. He opened his mouth and spit out a 3-foot white mist that hit the stone wall and smashed a thumb-sized deep pit. It's finally over. Jiang Chen's cold and stern face showed a smile. After the nightmare incident was over, he chose to break through the barrier without stopping, and for this purpose he specially found the master of the temple, hoping to find a secluded place. Even if he was such a big man like the master of the temple, he couldn't help but smack his mouth when he heard that this young boy, who was only 18 years old, was now so easy to embark on the second-level practice. He almost had a heart of cherishing talent, and his heart of Taoism was unstable, breaking the rules and wanting to accept Jiang Chen as a disciple. I can't help but feel a lot of emotion. People are different. Some people are born to be chased by God. Now I am sloppy, isn't it for you? In Jiang Chen's palm, the imprisoned doll struggled wildly in his hand, and there was a faint trembling. Jiang Chen looked down with a cold and ruthless look, like a god in the sky, the master of life and death, looking down at the humble and tiny former enemy. I have been very kind to let you live for so long. His arms exerted force slowly, watching the doll twist and deform step by step in his eyes and finally exploded into pieces. Jiang Chen admired Duan Lang's desperate struggle in the last moments of his life. Yes, that's right, this is the most extreme despair, facing the inevitable fate of being unable to resist. Jiang Chen's mouth corners raised. Ding, multidimensional deprivation has been completed. P.S. Host, please note that as your own strength increases, the strength increases, and the opponent you defeat is too weak or the gap is further narrowed, the power of deprivation will be further reduced. The panel is updated as follows: Name, Jiang Chen, Race, human, level, bronze, basic attributes, strength, 1010. Speed, 1009. Defense, 1011. Life, 1008. Energy, 1012. Spirit, 1010. Life recovery, 1 point of life per second, devil fruit, fish fruit fantasy beast blue dragon form, fruit development degree 11%. Martial, hockey, primary, 0/1000. Hockey, intermediate, 0 out of 1000. Hockey, primary, 0/1000. Affected by the superdimensional divine body talent, it can convert the divine attribute into the total amount of hockey. Physical skills, shaving, intermediate, 100/1000, iron block, advanced, 100 out of 1000, paper drawing, intermediate, 300 out of 1000, moon step, intermediate, 80/1000, mist kick, intermediate, 40/1000, gun finger, advanced, 500 out of 1000, basic stick technique, advanced, 0/1000, divine talent, high-dimensional vision, superdimensional divine body, multidimensional deprivation. Take a deep breath. Jiang Chen is in a very good mood at the moment, finally arrived at the bronze realm. The observation hockey has made great progress. The fall of one of the powerful enemies is a perfect experience. It's over here, and it's time to go back. Jiang Chen stretched his muscles and bones, and there was a crackling sound of bones. After leaving the retreat, he first said goodbye to the master of the temple, and finally took the hand of the little boy Lin Hao, ready to take him back to the real world. Jiang Chen, I look forward to seeing you again in the imperial capital. Tang Xia took out a jade pendant and a paper book and handed them to Jiang Chen. This is the martial arts secret book of Wudang Tianzong, which is the debt I paid for my brother. This jade pendant is a token of my Tang family. When you arrive in the imperial capital in the future, if you have any problems, hold my jade pendant, and our Tang family will definitely help you to the best of our ability. Thank you, see you later. Goodbye, sister. Jiang Chen waved his hand and took Lin Hao into the passage without looking back. Lin Hao held an urn and said goodbye to Tang Xia with red eyes. By the way, how are you going to settle Lin Hao? Don't worry, of course we'll send him home. He still has relatives in Jiangqing. I've checked the map. Jiangqing is also in Anzhou. As the voice fell, Jiang Chen disappeared in the world of the heavenly book, standing on the solid earth and the wildly growing weeds, compared with the neat and exquisite scenery of the heavenly book world, with birds singing and flowers blooming, pleasing to the eye, and unlike the scenery of the human world, it turns out that incompleteness is not a kind of perfection. The location is a remote country road. Taking a deep breath, Jiang Chen exhaled with satisfaction and intoxication. Yes, this is the smell, the exhaust gas discharged by the chemical plant mixed with the fragrance of the soil. The smell, this is the breath of life. On the road in the distance, a bird was lonely waiting beside its partner who was crushed into blood mud by a truck. The huge chimney emitted this unknown chemical gas, and the pattern of blue sky and white clouds was painted on the surface of the chimney. Chapter 95. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The ability of the Master's book fruit is truly amazing. It actually teleported us directly to the city. With a sigh, Jiang Chen took Lin Hao on the way home, patting Lin Hao's shoulder. The little boy seemed a little uneasy about facing the unfamiliar environment. Don't worry, just treat it as your own home. You and my sister Xiao are about the same age, so we can definitely get along and become good friends. I didn't expect that the residents who just moved into our community are a group of deadbeats. That's right, a house in our community is not cheap. Usually, seeing how shabby they don't look like they can afford a house. Oh, you mean they rely on cheating people out of money? Then we have to stay away from this family in the future. Jiang Chen just approached the door when he heard these voices. A group of aunts and uncles eating melon seeds gathered nearby, pointing and whispering at the house. Feeling bad, Jiang Chen's face was gloomy, and he pushed the crowd away roughly. Hey, you young man, do you still have any manners? Shoo, that man seems to be the son of this couple, there will be a good show. As soon as he entered the house, there was a loud noise from inside. "You couple! How shameless! It is only natural to pay back debts. If you have no money, you should use your house to pay off the debt. You are slandering me. I, Jiang Chen, am upright and upright. I have never owed anyone a penny." Jiang Chen, who was confused, had been honest all his life and had never encountered such a situation. He woke up early in the morning and someone came to collect debts for no reason. "If you didn't lend us money, where did you buy this house? As far as I know, you are just a small employee in the energy plant. You can't afford to live here." That the speaker was a fat man wearing a suit and tie, with a big gold chain hanging around his neck. He looked a bit honest and simple, and had a pair of narrow eyes, which made him look both cunning and honest. The contradictory temperament was extremely weird in him. He took out a contract and walked around to show it to the neighbors and onlookers. "Everyone, take a look. I'm not an illegal force. This contract is written in black and white, with his signature and handprint of Jiang Chen. He gambled in our casino and borrowed millions of Bailey. It's reasonable for us to come to him to collect the debt. We are very law-abiding." The fat man shouted loudly and showed the contract everywhere, as if he was afraid that others would not believe it. The people around him looked at Jiang Chen and his wife with strange eyes. The contemptuous look almost made the couple, who had been honest all their lives, feel ashamed. Jiang Chen snatched the contract with a flushed face, his eyes full of disbelief. The handwriting and fingerprints on the contract were almost the same as his own. "Impossible. Absolutely impossible. I, Jiang Chen, swear to heaven. I have never borrowed a penny from others, and these fingerprints and signatures cannot be mine." If you say that, I will call the police. By then, everyone will know about it, and the family scandal will be exposed, leaving a criminal record. Even if you don't consider yourself, you should consider the future of your children, right? Jiang Chen, we are already very kind. Debt collection is our job. We also have to live and eat. What else do you want? The middle-aged man showed a helpless expression to the people around him, as if he had suffered a great injustice, but when he lowered his head, he showed an imperceptible sneer. "Really, the world is going downhill, people's hearts are not as good as they used to be. I didn't expect that the couple was usually very honest, but they were this kind of people. You can't judge a person by his appearance. We can't let such people live in our community. People without moral integrity, get out of here." Jiang Chen's parents looked embarrassed and kept explaining to the people around them, but the explanations of the two people who had no way to prove the truth seemed pale and powerless. "Everyone listen to me, this house was bought for us by my son. If I tell a lie, I will die." Everyone can talk big, you die and let me see, do you dare? Someone in the crowd sneered, which was particularly harsh. Jiang Chen looked around and saw contempt, disdain, and mocking eyes. He opened his mouth slightly and wanted to say something, but in the end, it all turned into silent sighs. How could he endure such humiliation after living for most of his life? He immediately took out a fruit knife from the kitchen. "Okay. I'll die in front of you today." The fat middle-aged man grinned secretly and waved his hands with a frightened expression. No, we only want money and don't kill people." Okay, I'm afraid of you. "The goal has been achieved today, let them be disgraced." Crack, hee, of course, it would be better if they died. "Don't stop him, he's holding a knife and deliberately playing miserable. Debt collectors, you must not fall for their tricks, come and stab. Who are you trying to scare? Some people who are busy with things are constantly fanning the flames, watching the excitement and making trouble, causing people around to laugh. What the truth is, it doesn't matter to them, they only believe what they see and hear, and more people just watch a clown-like fun." Jiang Chen, who was extremely angry, ignored his wife Zhang Lin's obstruction, raised the fruit knife high and was about to stab his chest. The fat middle-aged man showed an imperceptible sneer. "Dad, don't." A big hand grasped the tip of the knife fiercely, crushing the entire fruit knife into pieces. Jiang Chen was furious, and his cold eyes swept across everyone. the debt collectors and the neighbors who were watching all felt a chill on their backs and stepped back involuntarily, leaving a large space. Son, Jiang Lin saw Jiang Chen approaching with surprise. Jiang Chen stretched out his hand to stop his parents' greetings and looked at the fat middle-aged man with a cold face. You are right. It is only natural to pay back debts. I will pay back their money. Son. Don't listen to their nonsense. I have never owed them a penny. Jiang Yuansheng was anxious and wanted to step forward to stop him, but Jiang Chen's tall body blocked him behind him. Dad, I will handle this matter. You. How do you handle it? You look big and strong, and I heard that you are still a student. What are you doing to pay back your parents' debts? If you don't ask your parents for money, you will be lucky. Someone in the crowd sneered. I said, I will pay the money back. This is a matter between our family and the debt collector. You neighbors, go back home and stop watching the show. The old men and women in the crowd were not panicked at all. Some even took out benches from their homes and pointed at the fat middle-aged man and his men. Young man, why are you so fierce? What you said is wrong. We are obliged to fight for justice. If you don't pay the money back to this poor debt collector today, we won't leave. Don't let me say it a second time. Jiang Chen exhaled a breath of hot air. That was his body's instinctive reaction when his emotions were extremely unstable. Get out. The thunderous roar exploded. The invisible sound waves raged. Everyone present felt a stuffiness in their chests, as if a bomb exploded in their chests. A mouthful of reverse blood came, and everyone's faces turned pale as paper and knelt on the ground. Some even spurted blood directly from their mouths and rolled their eyes and lost consciousness. Moans were heard everywhere. The only people who were not affected were Jiang Chen's parents and Lin Hao, and the 3 debt collectors were left. At this time, the fat man's forehead was sweating. You are so powerful, I can't afford to offend you. Okay, I don't want this money, is that enough? Why are you pretending, Dad? Think carefully. Have you ever written your name on a blank piece of paper like this and pressed your fingerprints? Chapter 96. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As early as the moment when the debt collector took out the contract, Jiang Chen opened his high-dimensional vision and soon discovered the trick. Besides, how could Jiang Chen not know what money was used to buy this house? That was the hard-earned money he got from the student union. Jiang Yuansheng, who was standing by, slapped his forehead and remembered it. A few days ago, Manager Wang of their company invited him and his colleagues to dinner for the first time. At that time, Manager Wang was particularly enthusiastic to drink with Jiang Yuansheng. At that time, Jiang Yuansheng was still wondering why Manager Wang, who had nothing to do with him and looked down on them, the frontline workers, suddenly became so enthusiastic. Later, when he was a little drunk, Manager Wang took out a stack of paper, pens, and ink, and said that the company had a new batch of office supplies and asked them to try it. It was just an insignificant matter, and Jiang Yuansheng didn't care too much. Now thinking about it, all this is probably the work of Manager Wang. But why did he target him? After Jiang's father expressed his conjecture, Jiang Chen moved a chair and leaned on it. 3 of you, tell me, who ordered you? This young man, you are slandering me too much. The fat man in the lead took out a handkerchief to wipe the cold sweat from his forehead, shivering and trying to argue. Jiang Chen looked at his scared and stubborn look, and couldn't help laughing. With a casual finger, the strong wind directly broke his left calf. You look a little funny, but I'm in the mood to play with you. I'll ask again, who ordered you? That the left calf exploded. Blood splattered, and he fell to the ground in pain. He never thought that the other party would be so cruel. Even the old men and women who were watching the show before, and the onlookers, were silent at this time. I say, it was that Manager Wang. That Manager Wang ordered us to do it. That the fat man covered his body and gritted his teeth in pain. No matter how he asked, he insisted that it was that Manager Wang who ordered it. Jiang Chen sneered, you are still not honest. A mere Manager Wang who has no grudges against you is not enough. Who is the mastermind behind it? If you answer wrong once, I will kill one of your subordinates, just like this. After saying that, Jiang Chen made a pistol shape with his fingers and tapped one of the men's foreheads lightly. Wait. Sir, I don't know anything. I just followed the boss to collect debts, ah. With a scream, the man's arm exploded, but it was Jiang Chen's parents who came forward to hug Jiang Chen's arm and shook their heads. Xiao Chen. You can't do this. Others are innocent, that the bloody scene in front of them made Jiang's father and mother a little difficult to adapt. They had seen dead people before, but they couldn't accept seeing their son take his life for them with their own eyes. Mom and Dad. As the saying goes, good people are often bullied. These people present, whether directly or indirectly, if I am not here, it will be my father who will die. Unconditional compromise and concession are not good things, don't you think so, father? Jiang Chen narrowed his eyes. They all deserve to die. Jiang Yuansheng and Zhang Lin were speechless for a moment, knowing that Jiang Chen was trying to protect them, but this kind of concern is too extreme. The man with a broken arm on the other side shouted in pain, "You are noble, you are great. You asked others about their whereabouts, not the real owner, and you hit me." Before he finished speaking, a bloody finger hole appeared on his forehead. He died instantly. Thugs. He really killed people. Lawless. Clear and bright. Such atrocities, aren't you afraid of retribution? You said they framed your family? Then you should bring out the evidence. Among the injured, some people were fearless and spoke for justice. These people are not bad, and there are many people with a strong sense of justice. They are just a little stupid and too easily manipulated by rumors and public opinion. However, these are not problems for Jiang Chen. Explanation. There is no point. There is no shortage of good or evil people in this world. Those who kill will be killed. So righteous. Very good, go and accompany them. Jiang Chen, who kept his word, shot them all to death in their eyes of resentment, dissatisfaction, fear, and disbelief. In a moment, corpses were everywhere. How dare you? You are breaking the law, do you know? A passerby who was still breathing widened his eyes and pointed at Jiang Chen, you devil. Everyone's family, the supervision department of Qinglong, everyone in Qinglong will not let you go. Ha 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 ha. Let them come. It's not impossible to reunite your family. Qinglong. Who else can be my enemy? Who else? I used to be timid when I first entered Black Iron. Now I am Li Bronze, hit hard. Jiang Chen's unbridled laughter echoed in the air. The man vomited blood and fell to the ground before he could recover. He died with his eyes wide open. Jiang Chen's parents clung to each other, too scared to believe that this was their son. The injured debt collectors felt as if their fate was being held by the throat. They trembled and dared not make a sound. Why are you still unwilling to reveal the mastermind after all this? Jiang Chen suddenly approached the fat man's face, frightening the man so much that he almost screamed and got wet. Gritting his teeth, the fat man lowered his head and said nothing. He couldn't say anything, nor did he dare to say anything. His wife and children were still in the hands of the Hao family, just to prevent himself from leaking the secret. Now, his mission has failed. I think he has no way to survive. Now he can only hope that the Hao family can keep their promise and spare the lives of his family. I'm sorry, young man, I really don't know what you are talking about. The fat man forced a smile, tried to raise his head and smile at Jiang Chen. Facing Jiang Chen's terrifying aura, Jiang Chen stared at him for a long time. It seems that torture alone can't pry open the secret that this person is willing to protect until his death. But it doesn't matter. Find that manager Wang and you can still follow the clues. Very good, you have backbone. It seems that you also have something you want to protect in your heart. However, since you want to resist, I will satisfy you. Jiang Chen waved his hand gently, and the headless body of the fat man fell to the ground. His two men were so scared that yellow liquid flowed out of their trouser legs. they shook their heads and begged for mercy. It's so shameful. Your boss is dead, so of course you have to accompany him. Jiang Chen shot a finger gun at each of them and hit them in the forehead. So far, none of the many onlookers and the debt collectors who gathered around Jiang Chen's new home survived and all died here. Looking at the corpses on the ground, Jiang's father collapsed to the ground in dejection. Chener, you. Hey, now, what can I do? Don't worry, father, although it's a bit troublesome, I can still handle it. Father Jiang was speechless. Was that what he was talking about? He was worried about Jiang Chen's current state. He was like a different person. How could he know that the kindness, courtesy, aloofness and enthusiasm in front of his family were just Jiang Chen's disguise and a protective shell for self-protection when he first came to this world? The current Jiang Chen is his true self, advocating violence, or in other words, he is violence itself. Chapter 97. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jiang Chen held the little boy's hand and came to his parents with a smile on his face. Mom and Dad, this is Lin Hao, you can call him Hao Hao. I found him in the mist, very pitiful, his parents were killed by monsters, now he is homeless, I plan to let him live in our house first. Jiang Chen's parents first saw Jiang Chen standing in the pile of corpses with a calm smile on his face, and they shouted in their hearts, and then heard Jiang Chen say that he went to the mist, and they were frightened again, and they hurried forward to check carefully without caring about anything else. You are such a worrying child, how old are you and you dare to run to the mist? Now that he heard that the little boy brought by Jiang Chen had such a miserable life, Zhang Lin, who was overflowing with maternal love, couldn't help but hug the little boy to comfort him. Xiao Chen, you have grown up, and we know that your future is not something we can control. We have been guarding our own little piece of land all our lives, and our knowledge and foresight are not as good as you young people. Your parents and I can no longer help you, but I still hope that you can stick to the morality in your heart in the future. Jiang Yuanqing sighed and looked at Jiang Chen with complicated eyes. This child he had watched grow up is now going to fly high. Of course, father, I am a very polite person, and what I pay attention to is a courtesy. Jiang Chen showed a sunny and cheerful smile to Jiang's father. There is a way, I understand. As a human being, what you pay attention to is a courtesy, stop killing with killing, and fight violence with violence. By the way, where is Xiao Xiao? Why didn't you come out to greet me? Really? Jiang Chen took out his newly charged mobile phone to contact Qinglong and others to deal with the bodies here, while asking what Xiao Xiao was doing. After not seeing the 99 plus unread messages on my phone for a long time, I saw the message from Qinglong. I clicked it and took a look. Qinglong, boss. Mission accomplished. Under the words was a photo of Hao Sei, who was cut in half by a sword and died with his eyes open. Jiang Chen nodded with satisfaction, which was considered as his recognition of him. Qinglong was really capable of dealing with things. Scrolling down, it was all about the days when Jiang Chen was away. Gu Qingying, Qinglong and other Jiang Chen subordinates sent crazy messages to worry about his safety. Jiang Chen couldn't help but smile slightly, imagining the future. With such a group of loyal subordinates, there was no need to worry about the great cause, until he saw the last message sent by Qinglong. The expression on his face was unprecedentedly gloomy and terrible. On the first day of missing you, it's so nice to be alone. On the second day of missing you, I'll take off. On the third day of missing you, my dears, let's keep playing music and dancing. Brother, Hao Nyobi is missing. I guess you must have killed your enemy. You should be back. Brother, where are you now? Everyone is worried about you. Why haven't you come back yet? Damn it. You're not here now. All kinds of villains are bullying us openly. My little sister was kidnapped. Gu Qingying was seriously injured and unconscious. Lu Hua's life or death is uncertain. The opponent is very strong, the underground dark force Black Heart Society that we have fought before. But we are learning the student association is not a coward. We are determined to fight to the death with them. Brother, if you see this message, we have already started fighting with the Black Heart Society. They are so strong. I can't hold on any longer, sorry, we are useless. We can't save Xiao Xiao, and we can't avenge Sister Qingying, brother, if you really disappear, now it can be regarded as brothers and you go to hell together, of course, if you come back, brother, then you must remember to come and save me. Okay. There is a road to heaven, but you don't take it. There is no door to hell, but you insist on breaking in. Jiang Chen's forehead was bulging with blue veins, his terrible momentum rose, and his twisted murderous intent gathered. Since crossing into another world, he has always been smooth sailing, but this is the first time that he feels like someone is pinching his neck. Angry Jiang Chen covered his face and laughed, interesting. So interesting. Black Heart Society. You better make sure they are still alive, otherwise, that I will wipe out all 9 of your clans. The gloomy words made the parents around them almost shiver, and the little boy hugged Jiang's father's thigh in fear. Jiang Chen, who had always been cold and easygoing, showed his hideousness for the first time. Son, what happened? Small problem. After arranging Lin how to live with his parents, he did not intend to let his parents know about Xiao Xiao's disappearance, so as not to worry them. Jiang Chen asked Qinglong to protect them well, a breath of fire annihilated all the corpses around. And this scene happened to be seen by 2 staff members of the supervision department who received reports from the masses. Who is the villain? In this is a murder. The 2 were shocked at first and then showed joy. When they looked closely, they found that it was Jiang Chen's family that their superiors had asked them to closely monitor. No, it shouldn't be Jiang Yuanqing's family, who was forced to commit suicide and ruined. This is different from the script, that the 2 muttered, but they didn't know that Jiang Chen had heard everything without missing a word. Okay. Your family killed innocent people indiscriminately. Let's see what you have to say if we catch you on the spot. That the 2 drew out their sharp blades and pointed them directly at Jiang Chen. Put down your weapons. Hold your heads and squat. Seeing this, Jiang Yuanqing and Zhang Lin turned pale and immediately stepped forward. Chenner, run. I'll hold them. Run. Break the law knowingly. It's a heavier crime. The 2 men grinned as if they saw themselves being appreciated by the Hao family and promoted to higher positions. Jiang Chen pulled his parents away and came to the 2 officers, looking down at them from a high position. I don't have time to play with you now. You, what do you want to do? Do you want to beat up the officers? Shocked by Jiang Chen's momentum, the hands holding the knife trembled slightly, and they couldn't help but regret shouting so loudly just now. I don't like to hit people. Hearing Jiang Chen say this, the 2 men were stunned, looked at each other, and thought that Jiang Chen was scared, and immediately stood up straight. Ha, you know you are wrong and still dare to be so unscrupulous. Be honest and come with us. Before he finished speaking, 2 big hands covered their heads like dark clouds covering the sun. You, what do you want to do? Let's talk it over. The 2 men struggled frantically. They swung their knives and kept slashing at Jiang Chen's arms, but they couldn't cause any harm to Jiang Chen. I like to kill people. He used his hands to push hard, just like a spinning top. Their heads spun 180 degrees backwards. It was still too gentle. If they didn't want their parents to see such a bloody scene, they would have been killed. It's just a little dessert. Jiang Chen wiped the blood off his hands. This city will face a beast that has broken free from its shackles, and the killing will begin. Chapter 98. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Father Jiang saw that Jiang Chen had killed the 2 inspectors directly. They were inspectors. Jiang Chen's action was tantamount to challenging the laws of the Han dynasty. He was immediately shocked and stepped forward to speak. Jiang Chen stopped him directly. Qinglong, keep an eye on the house for me. Then he walked away directly. Qinglong, holding the sword in both hands, stopped Father Jiang and said in a deep voice, Uncle, don't worry, Brother Jiang Chen, he knows his limits, that they are just 2 weak ants. After all, there is no reason for the weak to rule the strong in this world. Jiang Chen's figure was like the wind, running rampant in the bustling city. The shadow passed by, and the cars on the road almost couldn't dodge in time. The driver rolled down the window and pointed at the back of the figure going away and cursed. Jiang Chen stopped, frowned, and noticed the peeping in the dark, the body slightly tilted, a stray bullet with sparks grazing Jiang Chen's body, and a bottomless hole was blown out on the floor under his feet. Humph, you are quite alert. You deserve to be the #1 prodigy in Qinglong. You are qualified to cooperate with me. Hao Jian walked out from the dark, gently blew out the gun barrel that his finger had transformed into, and looked unfathomable. He looked up at Jiang Chen's position and found that Jiang Chen had disappeared. He was stunned and looked around in a hurry, but he turned around and came face to face with Jiang Chen. Are you looking for me? Hao Jian was startled. Just as he was about to speak, he felt his head hit hard by a heavy hammer. The whole person flew backwards and fell to the ground in a daze. Before he could recover, a foot pressed heavily on his chest, and the powerful force made him unable to resist. Humph, interesting, you dare to come up and seek death now that you know me, you are the first one. Jiang Chen was murderous at this moment, and was about to kill the person under him. Hao Jian also saw the surging murderous intent in Jiang Chen's eyes, and his previous self-righteousness disappeared. Hey, wait, Xiaodo Sack. The frightened Hao Jian directly blurted out the foreign language he had studied for many years. I am Hao Jian of the Hao family, I am here to cooperate with you. The sandbag-sized fist stopped a few centimeters away from his forehead, and the high-intensity air pressure caused ripples on Hao Jian's face. Hao family. Interesting, it seems that I have been fighting with you to the death for a long time. Jiang Chen's sinister face kept looking at Hao Jian's expression. Yes, Jiang Chen, Hao say, and you do have a grudge, but he is him and I am me. The recent series of actions against you and your family are all about the shadow of the Hao family. Keep talking. There was no emotion on Jiang Chen's face. Seeing this, Hao Jian had to speak out his thoughts. I know that the Hao family is incompatible with you. But the Hao family is big and powerful, and you can't easily fight against it. But with me, Hao Jian, the situation is different. Jiang Chen. Interesting, killing each other. You are so shameful. The scum of the family. Faced with Jiang Chen's teasing, Hao Jian's face turned red and white. The situation was stronger than the person. He suppressed the anger in his heart, and, thinking of his status in the Hao family, plummeted since Hao Sei was assassinated. He seemed to have become a different person, and his strength was inexplicably strong. Indifferent and high-handed, fierce and brutal. He beat and killed the servants at a disagreement. The most recent time, even his loyal subordinates around Hao Jian just bumped into him accidentally. He died on the same day. When Hao Jian heard the news, he rushed to ask for an explanation, but he was horrified to find through the gap in the door, House. Eating flesh and blood again. The momentary panic seemed to attract House's attention. House suddenly looked back, the crazy eyes made Hao Jian almost shudder. He was so scared that he ran away. He didn't know what happened to his cousin. But he suspected that House was practicing an evil method. And this must be allowed by the clan leader Hao Gang. In Hao Jian's view, the biased clan leader really did everything for his son. The resentment and humiliation almost eroded his sanity. Why? He was obviously the most talented person in the Hao family. Since then, Hao Jian swore that he would take everything from the Hao family. The Hao family should not be underestimated. No matter how strong you are, 2 fists cannot defeat 4 hands. Why don't you and I work together inside and outside? I will help you kill Hao Sei and Hao Gang together. You help me become the head of the Hao family. How about it? Jiang Chen smiled slightly, which was interesting. Cheng Xian had killed someone, but he resurrected again, his temperament changed drastically, and he liked to eat flesh and blood. This traitor is also very interesting. He wants to cooperate with Jiang Chen, which is tantamount to seeking the skin of a tiger. Help you become the head of the Hao family. Of course, after all, a person's family is also a family. Jiang Chen's eyes were obscure, and he pulled Hao Jian up and carefully patted the dust off him. The enemy is a friend. Hao Jian, I agree to your cooperation request. Chapter 99. You are listening at novelfull.audio. My cousin, where have you been? You are in such a mess. Hao Jian, who had returned to the Hao family, was startled by the sudden voice while walking on the small path in the courtyard. He turned around and saw Hao Sei behind him, squinting his eyes, wiping the corners of his mouth with a handkerchief, looking at him with a smile. The bright red lips seemed to be sprinkled with blood. Hao Sei walked gently to Hao Jian's ear and said sinisterly like a venomous snake, "Did you see it?" Obviously, Hao Jian's peeping had been discovered by him, but at this time, Hao Jian was not panicked at all. The dark aura emanating from Hao Sei was indeed very powerful. But so what? Hao Jian had never felt a more powerful aura than Jiang Chen from anyone in the family. He was extremely violent and murderous, like a demon beast in human skin. Just looking directly into his eyes gave him a sense of déjà vu of facing death. Hao Sei, no matter how crazy you are, no matter how strong the immortal Hao Gang is, just wait and see how long that old guy can protect you. Hao Jian snorted with full confidence. Humph. So what? How can I be afraid of a beast who eats raw meat and drinks blood? Hao's eyes turned cold. Then he spread his hands with a smile on his lips. Many people like to eat steaks and sashimi with blood. It seems that eating raw food is not a big deal. Why, I saw that your heart has changed from timid to fearless. Tell me who is giving you courage. Hao's slightly questioning words rang in Hao Jian's ears. Hao Jian's arm was directly transformed into a cannon barrel against Hao Sei's forehead. Don't get too close to me. My cannonballs don't recognize people. Stop it. The family leaders and several juniors passed by here, and everyone pulled the two people who were full of gunpowder apart. An elder of the family pointed directly at Hao Jian's nose and cursed. Hao Jian. What are you doing? You are pointing a gun at your own family. Are you going to violate the family rules? Eating raw meat? What's wrong with eating raw meat? The world is so big, there are all kinds of things. Who doesn't have a little habit? Another middle-aged man also pulled Hao Sei away. He was Hao Gang's chief secretary and the first think tank secretary song. Master Hao Sei, as the heir, I hope you can always pay attention to your words and deeds. In recent days, you seem to have done a lot of things that everyone complains about. If this happens again, I will have to report to the head of the family. In a room without lights on, Hao Gang sat on a chair smoking, with cigarette butts scattered on the ground under his feet. Under the dim light, Hao Gang's eyes seemed to be a little decadent, holding a photo in his hand. If you look closely at the innocent smile of the child in the photo, it is exactly what Hao Sei looked like when he was a child. Let Hao Sei come to see me. Hao Gang's hoarse voice sounded. The guard quickly brought Hao Sei to Hao Gang. Father, you're looking for me. Hao Sei sat opposite Hao Gang, the head of the Hao family, with a respectful look on his face. Hao Gang looked straight ahead, his eyes were clearly on Hao Sei, but he seemed to be looking through Hao Sei to the distant past. Son, do you know that I was poor when I was young? My parents died, I was hungry and cold, I wanted to practice martial arts but didn't know how to do it. It was my brothers and sisters, uncles and aunts who saved money bit by bit to support me to grow up. Unfortunately, I was dull and worked as a miner. I got up early and went to bed late, trying my best, sinking into the whirlpool of trivial life, lingering in 3 meals a day. I thought I would be like this for the rest of my life, until a mine accident changed my fate when I was 14 years old. I first saw the darkness of human nature in the mine cave that was sealed 100 meters underground. Cannibalism, just for a drop of water. Hao Gang sighed. Unexpectedly, I, only 14 years old, became the last survivor. My cousin was protecting me even before he died, and I even obtained the ancient martial arts, innate invisible sword chi. At that time, I knew that if it weren't for the favor of fate, I would have died long ago. What lofty ideals, life plans, mortal ants, peerless geniuses, everyone must bow their heads in front of fate. And in this world, no one is reliable, only one's blood relatives are one's only family. Relying on the ancient martial arts obtained by chance, he practiced swordsmanship at the age of 15, and since then he left his hometown and traveled all over the country. He saw and heard many bizarre things. I have wasted half my life, but I have achieved a little, but my realm is mediocre and my swordsmanship is not perfect. Now I just want to protect this huge Hao family and protect my descendants. The darkness in your eyes is far greater than the evil of human nature that I saw at the beginning. So I want to ask you. Hao Gang's voice came faintly. What's wrong, father? Who are you? Whether from the voice, appearance or DNA test, it is indeed my son. Hao's pupils shrank. What are you talking about, father? Of course I am yours. Before he finished speaking, the sharp invisible sword energy filled the entire room. The tables, chairs, pens, and ink in the secret room were instantly turned into powder. The powerful invisible sword energy made Hao Sei's skin feel cold all over. Hao Gang's silver-level aura gushed out. The invisible sword energy was so turbulent that the air was rubbed and rippled. Are you underestimating me? As a father, if I can't even recognize my own son, I am really unworthy of being a father. Where is my real son? Hao Gang's eyes were as red as a tiger that was ready to eat its prey. Headquarters of the Black Heart Society, a tall man in a red robe, holding a sword case in his hand, with a leather mask covering his cheeks. He stood majestically on the throne, like an iceberg that had not melted for thousands of years. This man was the leader of the Black Heart Society, the Snake Head, the King Cobra. Beside him, the senior officials of the Black Heart Society stood on both sides, guarding the throne. In front of him, Qinglong fell to the ground with injuries all over his body, and two of the Black Heart Society's men he was pinning him to the ground. Qinglong's eyes were filled with resentment and anger. Why, are you angry and desperate? That the red-robed man shook the sword box and rows of long swords emitting cold light slid out of the box. He took out a sword and gently scratched Qinglong's skin. The force was just right. As long as he moved forward a little, he could disembowel Qinglong. A chuckle. It's a pity that you are not the protagonist. Despair and anger will not give you any power to change your destiny. A group of naughty boys really caused me a lot of trouble. Your name is Qinglong, right? You should feel honored. Although you don't have the power to change your destiny, I do. Now I give you two choices, surrender or die. Qinglong snorted coldly and spit in the direction of the snake's head. Come on. Cut my neck. If I scream in pain, you can call me daddy. Ha ha ha, interesting, loyal and brave, with great potential. I like subordinates like you. I'm sorry for what I just said. I extend a formal invitation to you. The tall man stretched out his hand to Qinglong. Be my subordinate. Subvert the world with me. Qinglong opened his blurry eyes, looked at the majestic leader of the Black Heart Society in front of him, and then chuckled. Hey, scumbag leader. Do you think too highly of yourself? You are just a thief. Do you really think you are a villain who can subvert the world? Don't be so funny. You are hiding your head and showing your tail. You are a bunch of snakes and rats who are only worthy of living in the gutter. Especially you. Qinglong raised his head proudly and stared at the blurry figure in front of him. A dirty snake is a snake. What if it's a snake head? You will never become a real dragon. The tall man was not angry when he heard this, but the rest of the Black Heart Society were furious. The superhuman quick-cut fruit ability user who once let Qinglong escape from Liuhe Bar by chance. One of the four major cadres, round-spotted viper. He stepped forward and scolded, "You are so arrogant. I really thought you were so popular last time when I let you escape by chance. I tell you, if it weren't for the big brother's interest in you, you and your useless teammates would have died long ago. Now, either you join us, or go to hell with your group of good classmates. Choose for yourself." Qinglong coughed up blood, despicable and shameless. Enough. Viper. I have always won people over with virtue. Qinglong. You are my recognized subordinate. I will prove to you that I am qualified to be your boss. I will come back with Jiang Chen's head, and I will also properly settle you and your friends, and will not let you down in the slightest. I will let you witness Jiang Chen's fall, as well as my power and strength. I will make you convinced. Chapter 100. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Funga Hotel. I can't believe it. It's known as the most iconic building in Xinjiang. Under the magnificent prosperity, it is actually a gathering center of filth and darkness. In the ward of the school clinic, Jiang Chen looked at the sunset glow outside the window and the pedestrians hurried home. Jiang Chen. I'm sorry, I didn't protect Xiao well, I'm really useless. Qinglong had long black hair and a thin hospital gown, which supported her delicate body. Her lips were unnaturally pale and her eyes were sad. Suddenly, a coat fell on Qinglong. Qinglong was stunned. A big hand rubbed her head, and a warm and thick power came from her. Qinglong inexplicably felt a sense of security from the bottom of her heart. Put on more clothes when it's cold, and go back to your room and have a good sleep if you feel sleepy. Jiang Chen's voice has always been loud and cold, but this time, it became gentle and mellow. Qinglong just stared at Jiang Chen's back as he closed the door of the room and gradually walked away. The setting sun stretched his shadow into a hideous and slender shape, and Qinglong knew that their king was back. Hey, have you heard that He Wei, the young master of the He family, was broken off by his fiancée? It's all known. I heard that his fiancée disliked He Wei's fruit ability because it was too poor. What's wrong with the animal-type bison fruit ability user? They picked the devil fruit that we desire but cannot get. All roads lead to Rome, and some people are born in Rome. Humph. You guys are just this good. Why don't men take Wugo and take the 50 states of Guanshan? You only know how to read these gossips every day. You don't care about current affairs, demon invasion battle situation. A group of sentient beings stop at the black iron ants, do not know how to practice, only to the ground. Hi, the group of ants. We are ants. Looking at your poor appearance, I can't tell that you are in a high realm. What realm are you in? Black iron, otherwise how do I know that black iron is an ant? Everyone, it is true that this period of time is not peaceful, and many things have happened. But there are also good things. Especially the Hao family. I heard that our supervisory department director, Hao Gang, has occasionally felt something, and martial arts must be improved. Now he is in seclusion. I heard that all the affairs of the Hao family are presided over by the young patriarch, the strongest playboy in Xinjiang, Hao Sei. Oh, it's incredible, then I have to go out less often. The roadside tea house was bustling with people, and the idle tea drinkers talked about the big and small interesting things in Xinjiang. Jiang Chen came to Funga Hotel and looked up at the towering building in front of him. With a chuckle, he slowly walked in. Sir, please stop. The security guard wearing sunglasses and black clothes looked up and down and stopped Jiang Chen. Please show your exclusive membership card to enter the basement. Oh, what if you don't have a membership card? Jiang Chen's eyes were playful, and there was a hint of murderous intent in his eyes that was not easy to detect. Wang Anhai has been feeling unlucky in recent days, ever since the last time a group of thugs who claimed to be the student union beat his security colleague to death. After going around in circles, he found a job and became a Bail.me rider. No matter the wind and sun, or the storm, the monster defense line or the foggy Great Wall, the mission must be accomplished. He ran several long orders and was chased and bitten by monsters when he approached the monster defense line. If it weren't for the stolen ghost fire, he would have died long ago. It doesn't matter if he doesn't want to be a rider. Wang Anhai, who figured it out, returned to his old unit. Since the security guards outside are at the first line of defense and need to face uncertain dangers, this time, I can go to the club behind to be a small security guard. He felt that he had been through a lot and saw at a glance that the man in front of him was not a good person. The deep murderous intent hidden in his eyes made him have no doubt that he would be killed in the next moment. His body retreated slightly, and his body instinctively produced a sense of crisis. Adhering to the principle of a gentleman using words instead of hands, Wang Anhai decided to follow his heart again. As for Funga's security, it's a joke. This hotel has met me, and it's bad luck for 8 lifetimes. No way. Sir. Please come in. After swiping the card, opening the elevator door for Jiang Chen, and choosing the floor for Jiang Chen, Wang Anhai nodded and bowed respectfully and watched Jiang Chen walk into the elevator. After Jiang Chen left, Wang Anhai realized that his back was already soaked with sweat. I can't stay in this shabby place for even a day. The huge underground black boxing arena was bustling with people, and the boxers on the ring were like 2 caged beasts. Whether it was voluntary or forced, it didn't matter anymore. The human rationality had long been torn apart by the crazy shouts from the audience, leaving only primitive instincts. This is not the place I'm looking for. This floor is a black boxing arena, with black hearts. The group of people from the club should be on the next floor. Jiang Chen muttered to himself, passing through the noisy crowd. His cold aura was out of place with the crazy and lively crowd around him. Soon he attracted the attention of the inside. Hey! This guest. The backstage is not a place you should get close to. Who said it wasn't? There was a riot last time, and a group of young boys caused us a lot of trouble. The scar on my face still hurts a little bit now. In the end, I stepped on a little guy's leg and broke it. Haha. 2 burly men came over and surrounded Jiang Chen in the middle, since the last so-called student union riot. Security has become the top priority. Is it funny? Jiang Chen's cold snort exploded in their ears, and the buzzing sound made them dizzy instantly. The cold fingers pinched their fragile foreheads, as if they could easily crush their skulls in the next moment. Where are they? Take me there. Jiang Chen's tone was calm but could not be refused. Okay, don't do it. I'll take you there. I'll take you there. The 2 people who were sweating looked at each other, and tremblingly led Jiang Chen on the way. When they walked to a door, the 2 smiled at each other and shouted excitedly. Master 5-step snake. I caught another fish that slipped through the net of the student union. The door opened, and a group of well-trained members of the Black Heart Society surrounded Jiang Chen. The young man in the lead, well-dressed, with his hair combed meticulously, held up his gold-rimmed glasses, looked at Jiang Chen, and said sarcastically. I am the person in charge of this underground boxing match. You guys, are you really not afraid of death? I really don't understand the meaning of you weaklings, one by one, fighting against the stone with an egg. Wouldn't it be better to accept your failure honestly? Master 5-step snake, what do you think of this kid? How to deal with him? The 2 people in front bent over and asked the young man in the lead. The young man waved his hand and decided Jiang Chen's fate lightly, send him to the arena and let him fend for himself. As for cadres, you should know a lot. Jiang Chen narrowed his eyes, put his hands behind his back, and asked the young man calmly without paying any attention to the members of the Black Heart Society who surrounded him. The calm scene made the 5-step snake frown. Just stand there. Are you pretending to be so arrogant? The members of the Black Heart Society rushed forward. They were about to control Jiang Chen. In an instant, a wolf-tooth iron rod appeared in Jiang Chen's hand. The green lightning flashed on the rod. No need to come here to die. The terrifying force followed a graceful and violent arc. The air was squeezed by the iron rod and made a loud bang. Thunderous bagua. In an instant, the faces of the people who surrounded him changed suddenly, and they were terrified. Boom! A violent roar sounded, and a bloody rain was set off in the narrow corridor. Body remains were everywhere. Now, can we have a good talk, Mr. 5-step snake? The remaining blood dripped from the hot black mace. Standing on the corpse, Jiang Chen issued an unquestionable invitation to the lonely young man.